Hey, Chris, my man. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Beautiful. And thank you so very much for being here as well. Just like I mentioned, I truly appreciate it. And you see, Chris, my man, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become an anthem for me. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Chris, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest it in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. They say some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Chris, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word
Yeah,
unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it. The leaves were all dry. So
yeah, yeah,
I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Chris, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. The mango tree
yeah,
caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a
yeah,
lovely moment that day. I was so excited. Here's my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Chris that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to say no to you. And getting to read a little bit about you, your philosophies, your insight, the impact your work is having, these things are amazing. And the way you are offering your solutions, oh boy, these stuffs are amazing. And while I was going through all of this, since I said I just can't wait to have this conversation because I know it's definitely going to be helpful to me and even to the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Chris. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, my man.
yeah. It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, man. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have Chris on the show today for two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Chris, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Chris, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason I'm excited to
Absolutely.
have the amazing Chris on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, Chris, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me
Absolutely.
for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Chris, my man, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we're just so curious. We want to know how Chris got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Chris, my
Okay,
man, over to
great.
you.
So, a little about Chris Wilson. I am a native of North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina in the western part of the state. Went to school in the central part of the state in Winston-Salem, and graduated from school there. Went on to work in corporate America for a number of years in the Midwest, in Kentucky and Indiana, and then decided to come back to North Carolina and worked in corporate America for about 15 years before uh, going out on my own as an entrepreneur and acquiring a franchise in H&R Block about 23 years ago. Decided to get into financial planning and tax preparation, things of that nature. What attracted me to H&R Block was the fact that they just acquired a financial services company and converted it to H&R Block Financial. So I was really more interested in that aspect of the business than I was for the tax side of the business. But shortly after making the transition and getting involved, H&R Block sold off the financial services piece of the business. So I was left with the tax segment of the business. And I've learned and worked with it over the years. And I've found ways to satisfy my need for helping people with financial, all things financial, by way of, number one, this book on how to make your nest egg last a lifetime, and just helping people strengthen their financial foundations by way of serving them from a tax preparation standpoint.
Amazing. And that's a great one you're doing. And you see, just recently, I've been so curious about understanding how tax can help folks grow money. Maybe we pick the first question from there. So how can taxes help me grow money?
So I have this saying that, the lack of tax knowledge can be expensive. If you don't have access to someone who can apply the tax laws for your situation, then you may be missing out on certain tax breaks, or having knowledge about a tax situation may cause you to want to do things in a different way. A good example of that is if you are starting a business, the easiest way to start a business is, particularly in the U.S., is to just put your shingle out and say you're in business. That pretty much gets you set up as a sole proprietor and a Schedule C business, so to speak. But what people don't understand about that is that is the highest taxed entity type that you can engage in. Yes, it's the easiest to set up, but it's also the highest tax. So just knowing that would be a cause for pause around, okay, what type of entity type should I use when I'm planning to set up my business? Or maybe you started as a sole proprietor, and now it's time to grow into a different entity type as a result of, your business is picking up steam and you're generating profits, and it may be time to choose a different entity type.
Okay, I got that. So how do I keep more of what I earn? Like, how do I keep more?
So keeping with the thing that I just talked about, for example, if you run a sole proprietor business, 100% of your profits are going to be subject to the self-employment tax. And if you set up an S corporation, you can control how much of your income is going to be subject to the self-employment tax. And by doing that, you can save quite a bit of money by structuring your business as an S corporation, as opposed to just defaulting to the C sole proprietor type business.
I never knew that, though. Thank you for sharing that with me. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about retirement, my man. So, what are some smart ways to plan for retirement?
So in my book, I talk about how to make your nest egg last a lifetime. Most people, there's a lot out there book wise and knowledge wise around how to invest and to build a nest egg. Lots of information, lots of knowledge. You can start with a 401k, you can start with a 403b, depending on whether you're a private employee or not. And if you're not in a company that has those products available to you, you can always start your own IRA. You can start a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA and use that as a mechanism of growing your retirement income. But where most folk get tripped up is not so much in the building the nest egg, but in deploying it once you have it. The challenge there is to deploy it in such a way that it will sustain you in retirement and it will stay intact. And it can also be an inheritance for the next generation. In our community, Elijah, everybody starts over. Every generation starts over because nobody's leaving anything behind for the next generation. And that's something that our community has to change. And that's what this book is all about, is how to make your nest egg last a lifetime. It really should be how to make your nest egg last a lifetime and beyond, because those are the types of things that we're focused on, is structuring your retirement income in such a way that it can sustain you in retirement. And we are living longer, so we need to focus on this activity and pay close attention to it and give it the attention that it needs, because it's an important part of your overall life and lifestyle.
That's right. It's a very important part. A very, very important one. Okay, so what is an investment club?
So I talk about in the book, starting an investment club. If you don't know much about investing, starting a club is a good way to learn. You can get together anywhere from 8 to 12 like-minded folk and or people from your community, and come together monthly, pool your funds. It might be $50 or $100, depending on the group. You all decide how much you want to put in each month. Pool the funds and invest in the stock market. And each month you come together, you make an investment decision. You also add a component of education to it, and you task someone in the group to come back each month with a presentation on something that you can learn about from a financial standpoint. So it's an education vehicle as well as an investment vehicle. And the beauty of investment clubs is, while you don't have a lot of knowledge about investing, you also don't have a lot of money at risk. So your knowledge and your funds are growing together. And so if you get to the point to where, if you started a club and you get to the point to where you've been investing for years, and now you're at the end, you're ready to retire, and you've got this lump sum of money that you've been saving all your life that you're planning to use for retirement. Now you're a little more qualified and a little more comfortable about what you should do with this money and how you can deploy it in such a way that it will sustain you for the rest of your life. What you don't want to do is get to a point at retirement, know very little about investing, and now you've got this big pot of money you've got to decide what to do with. The vultures are there waiting on you if you're unknowledgeable about how to deploy your nest egg. They've got some ideas about how they should deploy it for you and on your behalf. And it doesn't necessarily benefit you as much as it benefits them.
Now I see why you're so good at what you do. Very, very insightful. I got that. I think everyone should join an investment club, because that's really very, very helpful. Okay, let us talk about financial legacy. What are the best ways to leave a financial legacy?
So there are a lot of ways to do that. One is through this vehicle called your retirement nest egg. As I point out in the book, the way you go about using your nest egg strategically is you want to position it in such a way that it sustains you in retirement, but then it also can be left behind for the next generation to use. We're the most creative community on the face of the earth. Now, the problem is that we don't have the resources to bring our ideas to market a lot of the time. So that doesn't actually happen. We are, like I said, creative, but the challenge is being able to get to the marketplace, and we don't have the resources to be able to do that. So if we can start leaving a legacy of a generational wealth behind for the next generation, we can alleviate some of those barriers to getting your ideas and your creativity to the marketplace.
I got that. Okay, so finally, let's say there is someone listening right now who really wants to know how to teach his kids on how to grow wealth. And he says, "Hey, Chris, how do I teach my kids to grow wealth?" What would your response be?
So I would say at birth, as soon as the child has, at least in America, as soon as the child has a social security number, they can also have an investment brokerage account. And so you can establish this account for the child at birth, and you can encourage people to fund this account over the course of your child's life. Special celebrations, birthdays, graduations, certain milestones, instead of getting the traditional toy or whatever you might give a kid, make a donation to their brokerage account on their behalf and be intentional about investing that money. And this kid will know and learn and know that they've always had this account. They're going to be obviously curious about what it is and how it works. And they're going to grow up knowing that this is a natural part of who they are and what goes on in their life and their lifestyle. And so they won't ever be without an investment account.
Wow. Okay, I feel like there are still a lot of things that folks are going to learn from purchasing your book. So tell us a bit about how did you come about the title?
So there's been an issue in our community for a long time. There's a retirement crisis going on in our community. And I've had the fortune of, over the last 22, 23 years, being able to, through my company, we file thousands of tax returns annually. And so I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly as it relates to finances. And I've seen people who do it right and those who not so much do it right from that perspective. And so, based on what people do early on, where they're going to end up. And for that reason, I wrote the book. It's always been a challenge for the African American community to structure their savings in a way that it sustains them in retirement. But, if you don't have a solution to a problem, then nobody wants to talk about it. And so I finally put this solution together, which is my North Star Nest Egg Legacy Model. And it is a concept where you take your nest egg and you deploy it in such a way that 70% of it is in fixed income, 30% of it is exposed to the S&P 500. And of that total portfolio, you draw down 4% of it annually. And my time-tested model back from 2010 up to 2025 shows that whatever you started with in 2010, you have that plus on hand now in 2025. Plus, you've used the money over the last 15 years to sustain yourself in retirement and to make sure that your retirement funds have kept pace with inflation.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So to bring this to an end, Chris, how would you like to leave the audience with like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed, or even make a purchase of your book, how can that be possible?
So I am available on LinkedIn from a social media standpoint. You can find me on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, I don't have Facebook and Instagram and all of those others, but I do have a website, and you can get to that website. It's ChristopherAWilson.com from my LinkedIn account. And you can purchase a book on Amazon. It is in hard copy, paperback, ebook, audio. and it's also a #1 bestseller on the Amazon list of books. So it's reached #1 status. And so those are the ways that you can reach out and gain access to the book. And also reach out on the website as well, ChristopherAWilson.com.
Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Chris. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot, my man. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you. A pleasure.